You can tell a lot about the character or lack thereof involving a leader based on how they respond to a different set of crises. Let's take, for example, Donald Trump responding to an obvious crisis that's in the news right now with extreme weather events taking place throughout the world and what we're hearing about taking place right now in Jamaica and elsewhere. I mean, some horrific things. Well, Donald Trump says that climate change isn't really a thing. He says he doesn't even believe it's real. He says it's just called weather. Here, watch this.
Now, that's only reporting, who knows, but they were very serious. It's called weather. The risk is weaponry. The risk is nuclear warming.
And here he says it's not an existential threat. In fact, it's a benefit, if anything, because you're going to get more beachfront property, he says. Here, play this clip.
But he said it again last night, that global warming is an existential threat. And I say that the thing that's an existential threat is not global warming, where the ocean will rise, maybe, and it may go down also, but it may rise 1/8 of an inch in the next 497 years, they say. 1/8, which gives you a little bit more waterfront property if you're lucky enough to own.
More beachfront property. And here he says global warming's fine. It's just hot, just a little bit of heat. Here, play this clip.
Global warming is fine. In fact, I heard it was going to be very warm today. It's fine. It's fine.
And by the way, that's the same way he dealt with COVID, right? Where he said it's like a miracle. It'll disappear. Here, play this clip.
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
More on that in a moment. Then Donald Trump says that if anything, he supports climate change. He will root for it. He will affirmatively cheer it on because it means you'll have more beachfront property. Watch this clip.
The single biggest threat, not global warming. When they say that the seas will rise over the next 400 years, 1/8 of an inch, which means basically you have a little more beachfront property, okay? Think of it. The seas are going to rise. Who knows? But this is the big threat. I watched Biden the other night. It's the greatest existential. He loves that word because it's a big word, and he thinks he knows. He doesn't even know what the hell the word means. He goes, it's the greatest existential threat to our country, global warming.
He goes on to repeat this line over and over again about the only global warming he cares about is nuclear global warming. Here, play this clip.
The other night about that nuclear doesn't matter so much. What matters is, think of this, global warming. The only global warming that matters to me is nuclear global warming, because that's the real deal.
And here he says that again. Play this clip.
It melted the granite. If you look at that and multiply it times 500, that's what you're talking about. When I listen to people talk about global warming, that the ocean will rise in the next 300 years by 1/8 of an inch, and they talk about this is our problem. Our big problem is nuclear warming. I mean, nobody even talks about it. The environmentalists talk about all this nonsense in many cases. Look, I'm an environmentalist also, I guess, in my own way, because I've done a good job with the environment, but nobody talks about nuclear, the problem we have, the biggest problem we have in the whole world. It's not global warming, it's nuclear warming. And all it takes is one madman, and you're going to have a problem the likes of which the world has never seen.
And then he says climate change in general is a con job, that it's fake, it's a fraud. Here, play this clip.
Understand? Because I don't view him as a stupid guy. Is this the biggest con game in the world? I mean, does he really believe this? He goes to China over global warming, which they don't use anymore because it's not getting warmer, it's actually getting a little cooler. So now they call it climate change. Because climate change covers everything. If it gets warm, if it gets cold. Climate change is one of the greatest con jobs ever, because global warming didn't work. Because, remember when they sent the boats out to the Arctic, freezing cold, and the scientists were in the boat, a big ship, and they were worried about the icebergs because they were melting. And they had a little cold wave that lasted for about 2 days. And it was so vicious and so cold that the ice formed around the ship and started crushing the ship like it was a little... Remember, we had to send helicopters in to get him. The ship was just engulfed in ice. and they're talking about global warming. So we're destroying our country.
And notice with him, it's all projection and confession because everything that he does is fraudulent. Here he is even trying to pronounce the word climate change and can't see it and can't say it. Play this clip.
And by the way, they don't work well in cold weather. And they don't go far. That's true. They don't go far. But it's certainly not great for your climb, they call it climate. Well,
and again, remember with COVID where he said, like, should we just inject ourselves with bleach or disinfectant? Here, play that clip.
We hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. And I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
Get the right folks who could.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
And he's been going around at Mar-a-Lago saying that COVID was used to cheat. COVID was a cheater, and that's why he says that he would have otherwise won, but COVID's a cheater. Here, play this clip.
We had a rigged election. It was rigged like nobody's. They used COVID to cheat, and they did cheat, and it's all over the place. And everybody knows it. But they used COVID to cheat. But we are going to win it again, and it'll be, I think, bigger, better, stronger than ever before. They're fighting like dogs.
All right, now take that and compare that to what President Biden has been saying when it comes to the climate. So what Biden said this week, play this clip.
Look, extreme weather events drive home a point that I've been saying for so long. Ignoring climate change is deadly and dangerous and irresponsible. These climate-fueled extreme weather events don't just affect people's lives. They also cost money, they hurt the economy, and they have a significant negative psychological effect on people.
Here's another one. President Biden actually talking about issues. Play this clip.
Unfortunately, my predecessor and the MAGA Republicans in Congress are trying to undo all this progress. They still deny climate change even exists. They deny climate change even exists. They must be living in a hole somewhere at the expense of health and safety of their own constituents. They deny it exists. Every single congressional Republican voted against the investments which created these jobs and combat climate change. Many of them are trying to repeal those climate provisions and kill those jobs. I quite frankly think it's not only outrageous, it's really stupid. Everyone who willfully denies the impacts of climate change is condemning the American people to a dangerous future and either is really, really dumb or has some other motive in that. How can you deny there's climate change, for God's sake?
President Biden talking about it again. Play this clip.
All told, we've invested a record more than $50 billion for climate resilience, including against extreme heat and wildfires. But that's not all. My American Rescue Plan is helping states and cities promote energy efficiency, reduce the impacts from flooding, and open cooling centers. People have to know where to go, where they can go in their neighborhood. They don't, it's just not automatic. Through the bipartisan infrastructure law, we're delivering over $20 billion to lower your energy costs, upgrading the electric grid to withstand stronger heat waves and storms. And my Inflation Reduction Act, the most significant climate investment ever in the history of the world, anywhere in the world, has already created 300,000 new jobs, building clean energy we need to cut our emissions and to lead the world.
Here's one more clip of President Biden saying it. Play this clip.
And either is really, really dumb or has some other motive in that. How can you deny there's climate change, for God's sake? Let me close with this. When disaster strikes, there are no red states or blue states. I've demonstrated that. I said no matter whether you vote for him or not, everyone's going to get treated fairly. They're just communities, not red communities, blue communities. They're just communities. Families looking for help. And my administration is going to be there for you every step of the way. You just have to remember who we are, for God's sake. We're the United States of America. The United States of America, there's nothing Nothing beyond our capacity if we work together. So God bless you all. We're just getting started here, man. I'm confident we're going to get this done. And I want to.
So I just think it's incredibly important that we live and deal with facts. And the fact that you will have the media. Have you even seen the media, corporate media, do a single report on Donald Trump not believing that climate change is real, or, you know, in any way asking him questions about this, or acting like, or even reporting like, how could you act like it's not even a thing that exists? I mean, I showed you the COVID stuff because that's Trump's MO on everything. Deny, pretend it's not real, remove the experts, and that ultimately will get us, the people, killed like it did in COVID, like it's doing now. I mean, it is behavior like that as well. The malignant narcissism that is so dangerous and so fatal to us all. He's probably not just saying this, he's probably the most dangerous person in the entire country to hold that job. Because his decision making is to always affirmatively substitute his own incorrect views of things in place of experts. And you're seeing it there. It's something that we need to talk about and need to consider. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers together. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.